following program is the result of a life turned around by God. Pastor Dimas went from running guns and drugs into the projects to bringing Bibles and the gospel into one of the toughest neighborhoods in New York City. He lives, preaches, and walks the streets of the Bronx. He turned his life around, and now you can too. You are about to hear the amazing story of the dynamic life with Pastor Dimas.
Now kids pick these words up and they learn this high level of vocabulary as well. So there's an association with your income and your knowledge. In one way, to guarantee moving yourself in the top 10% of your field is you have to become an expert in your field. One way to become an expert, they say it takes 7 years to become an expert in any field. If you read for an hour a day on any subject, in 7 years, you'll be up there with whoever is the best of that subject. You'll be in the top 10% for sure, no matter what the subject is. The question is, do you want that? My hope is you want that. We need believers in every area of society, and we need them to be incredible. But here's what happens in church. In church, we have created often a culture of mediocrity sometimes. Not all places, but some places. We don't want to be Cain. We don't want to be Abel. We want to be Cain. We want to bring something. I've been at conferences, pitiful places. Horrible, everything's broken, sound is broken, lights are broken, everything's broken. They say, man, I say, well, the sound didn't work, this didn't work. They say, man, I guess that's what God willed. No, it ain't what God willed. You did not invest in better equipment. You did not invest in better lighting. You did not invest in things to make your presentation excellent. That's why it's busted. That's why it's messed up. Don't give this to God. We have to make decisions in our lives to start whatever we do it unto God. Martin Luther King kind of said it this way, paraphrasing. He said, if you're going to be a street sweeper, he's saying the same thing I'm saying. He said, be a street sweeper in such a way that you do it so well that all of heaven looks down and says, now that is a street sweeper. And how many of us have seen excellence before? A lot of us, I'm sure. I'll give you an example. Last year, I had a woman come and sing for us. Her name is Nicole C. Mullen. Very, very famous singer. She led worship for the Pastor's Prayer Conference. Now, there were people that were pushing back on me. Why are you getting her? That's so expensive. She's A level. She's not BC. She's A level. She's, got hits, Grammys. She's won Grammys for writing. She sung hits. She has that song, My Redeemer Lives, all over K-Love. If you play a song places, everybody knows it all around. She is top shelf. When she came to our place, she looked out the audience. She said, wow. She said, I noticed there's some Asians, there's some Chinese, okay, there's Spanish, okay, there's English. She said, all right. Said, I'll be back. She went up. Next night she came down. She sung her song in English, in Spanish, in Chinese, and I don't know if the other one was Korean or Japanese. And I said, that's why she's successful. That's why she's an A-lister. That's why she should be booked. Why? Because she goes the extra mile. People that go the extra mile, guess what? You cannot stay down when you go the extra mile every time. I don't care who tries to hold you down. They cannot do it. And at one point or another, the quality of your work and your pay has to line up. It has to. By fact. You gotta be that good. Unless you shoot yourself in the foot every time the opportunity comes and you go, no, that's too big of a position for me. I'm just going to stay right here. No, I know I can do it, but I'm going to stay right here. No, I know I can do it. I'll stay right. That's the only thing that can hold you back. But the opportunities will come. They will come. And when they come, you'll be ready for them. I worked on my story year after year, night after night, working on it. Billy Graham and them asked, they came to me, they emailed the email to me and a gentleman named Jeremy Del Rio. And they said, which one of you can share your testimony? Which one of you wants to do the offering? And I was there, I was like, a voice first said to me, you'll be rude. Don't say you want to share your testimony. That'll be like, you'll look like you're wrong. Do the offering. I said, no way. I said, I'll do the testimony. And Jeremy said, I'll be great at the offering. Let me be responsible for the money. I'm standing there before 90,000 people telling my testimony. It was a smash hit. And my life has never been the same after doing that talk. Other things came up. The right to worship battle, for people to be able to have meetings in schools and for New York to be able to rent those schools. God told me to go on a 21-day fast. God told me to walk and pray in front of a place. God told me I was going to get arrested, and don't be afraid to get arrested. Getting arrested for Jesus was the greatest thing that happened to my life. From being arrested, I went on the 700 Club. I went on TBN. I went on on Focus on the Family. You name the outlet, I was on it from being arrested for Jesus. And I've been on those outlets again and again and again and again and again because I was prepared for the moment when it came. I was prepared for it. In that training of building yourself up, you need to be prepared for when that moment comes so that your excellence hits that opportunity and it's going to explode all over the place. Take nothing for granted. Nothing. No moment in time take for granted. Even if you're in a rush, everywhere, I want to encourage you to do this, because some things come and you got to respond quickly. Pause and carve out time where you can sit down, shut everything out, and to begin to think about what you're going to do. If I'm going to meet with somebody great, I stop. I take out my pad, I take out my pen, and I begin to write, and I say, okay, what do I want to cover when I meet this person? What can this person do? What can I do with this person? Why are we meeting anyway? What can come out of this meeting? What can we do for God? And I just sit there and start to write and start to write and start to write and start to write. And sometimes like, this is it. Oh my gosh, I never thought of that. In so many meetings I walked into and said to somebody, well, what if we did such and such and such together? And they'll say, you know what? That's incredible. Let's do it. And I'd walk out with an opportunity bigger than I could ever think of or imagine or do. And many of them would say, that thought never even crossed my mind. I'm so glad we met. So every opportunity you have to think about. Because guess what? Let's be real. Not picking on these organizations, but I'll put it like this. You have to have a vision for your own life. McDonald's does not have a big vision for you. If you work for Starbucks, they ain't got a big vision for you. You work for Macy's, they don't have a big, I don't care who you work for. You have to have a vision for yourself. And here's a question. Who do you work for? Who do you work for? That's a trick question. You know who you work for? Yourself, every time. Any job you have to go in there and work for yourself. And you know what they say? Anybody that shows up to work with the attitude that they work for themselves, they move up in the company rapidly. Because it's like if the company loses money, they feel like they're losing money. If the company's not successful, they feel like they're not successful. When I go into work somewhere, I make myself valuable to the point that it would be so hard to be replaced. And that's who you have to become. Your service. Let me Christianize it so it's easier to receive. Your service that you give needs to be so valuable that you're hard to replace. And if you become so hard to replace, that's when finally you will reach the rewards that you actually deserve. The number one job out there, the number one job that brings in resources are thinking jobs. Like my friend, he's a surgeon. He makes millions. You want to know why? Because he's hard to replace. The knowledge that he knows, most people don't know. It takes years and years and years of study, years of preparation. You just can't walk around and grab somebody and say, you be a surgeon. Come on in here and operate on this person. So it's the knowledge that he knows that made his value increase. Sometimes that's one way. Sometimes your way may be taking over more and more of the areas of the company. Hey, you want me to help with that? I want to volunteer and be involved. Make yourself irreplaceable. If you work under somebody, make yourself so needed that even if they don't like you all the time, they're like, doggone, I don't know what would happen to this company if this person was gone. My church administrator, her name was Tara Flynn. She made herself irreplaceable. Her paws are all over all the important areas of the church. To get rid of her, we'd have to hire 3 or 4 people. So whatever she needs, we do. Tara comes in. I need money for so-and-so. Find that money. Get it to her, hell of a fast. Because if she ever left, it would hurt. That's who you got to become. That's who you got to become. I'm going to give you some more stuff. I had a minister friend named Sam, and let me see, and he was rich. And he told me when he was working and running some stuff that he had to make all of his wealth with his hands. He was a roofer and a painter. And I remember he used to tell me this story often. He would say, Dimas, and he's in my book. He called me Chad because I was under alias. He would say, Chad, I made all my wealth with these hands. He would say, look at my hands. They had nicks and cuts all over them. He said, all my wealth I had to make with a hammer, a nail, and a paintbrush. He said, but I've made millions with these hands. He told me, he said, Chad, my brother's name actually, he was telling me, he said, go out there and use your mind so you don't have to do what I do. But I share that story to share. You could be a plumber. You could be a painter. You could do roofing like Sam and make millions if you become excellent at what you're called to do and are willing to put in the sweat, in the tears, in the time, in the expansion of his company to get it done. And he only had 3 workers, myself and 2 others. And every year, cha-ching, millions were coming through the door. But he said to me, he said, I'm not afraid of work. He had this slogan. He said, when I show up, work takes off running because it knows I'm coming in there and I'm about to beat work up. That's what he said every morning. Guys, y'all ready? Work is out there. And when I come and when we show up, work better take off running because it's going to lose every time. And we would be finishing roofs like this, buildings like this. I mean, we were just going and going and going. I mean, I look back of how many roof jobs we did because he motivated us. He moved us. He renewed our thinking. We got there. We were like, when we get to this roof, I mean, I want this roof knocked out by lunch. You know, we probably wouldn't finish it by lunch. But by the next day, he's like, good job, man. Wrapped up. Let's go to the next one. Let's find the next one. And we were going and going and going. I share that to share that this is kind of what it takes. You may look at me. I may look thin or fit or whatever. This is a lot of work. This is no accident. While y'all broke down that chicken, which God knows me, I want it. But me can't have it. Me can't touch it. I'm not Jamaican, I'm Jafaican. Because I try to put everything in this body to the best of my ability to operate like an Olympic athlete. Yeah. I'll touch a little rice, I'll eat salad, I'll drink water 90% of the time. I'll wake up, I'll eat fruits, I'll juice vegetables. Sometimes it's very boring. Once in a while I have what's called a cheat day where I get to do what I want. But other than that, I don't. I run 6 miles, 3 miles, 5 miles. I lift weights on a regular basis. If I was a little shorter like my man back there, I'd be just as big as him, but God ain't give me that. This dude look like he can do 5 pull-ups and muscles would break out. I know. It's a blessing. I got this long body. I work and work and work and work to perform at the highest peak I can for Christ. Not to be a model again, you know. But it all takes work. It all takes effort. It all takes discipline. It all takes sweat. Because God wants my best. I'm on Christian television. I don't deserve to give my word. Okay, do you see Brad Pitt coming through all fat? I'm Brad Pitt. No. Do you see Idris Elba showing up with his gut all out to here saying, yo, what's up? I'm ready for my part. No. So why do we think we deserve to be on TV? Just accept me the way I am. No. No. David was at a meeting, we had a meeting. We had TV producers there that produce Christian things. And what they say? They said, Dimas got the voice, the talent, and he has the look. I didn't even know that they were looking for that. But that all matters. So whatever thing you're in, this is the world I'm in. Whatever world you're in, it may not surround that same thing, but whatever world you're in, rock in that world. Rock in that world. Do it. Go for it. And always think, how can I get to that top 10% of this field? And ask. I'm going to leave you with this, and then we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back for the last session. But one of the things you always want to understand is success leaves a track. It leaves traces. It leaves railroad tracks. So I did a study. I said, okay. I sat down. I said, God has called me to minister. Now that has limits. I said, okay, if I'm a minister, I can't sell crack anymore. You know, can't be rich off of illegal pharmaceuticals. You know, if I'm a minister, that was a joke, y'all. I wasn't thinking about selling crack. Pastor was selling crack. He's selling keys. No, I said, okay, I can't deal drugs. I don't want to necessarily get in the business world because that moves me into a whole nother mindset. You know, I know that mindset. I am a second away from hustling. I could hustle. I mean, legit stuff. I can sell. I'll give you an example. I took a group of my young men down to D.C. And when we went into D.C., we went during Obama mania. And I said, my cousin printed the baddest Obama calendars. I said, guys, we're going to go there. They're all from the Bronx. Let's go. I said, guys, okay, we're going to sell calendars. I said, now y'all never seen Pastor like this before. They were like, what? Well, what's going on? I said, okay, I'm going to hustle. I said, I am very good at hustling. They're like, what, Pastor? Shy. Wait till you see me in action. I said, all right, now, I warned y'all. So we hit the streets. In 2 days, I clocked like $8,000 in 2 days selling calendars. The top other sellers sold $1,500. The other guys sold $900. The third guy sold 300. I sold like 7 G's. You don't want to open up an operation next to mine, let me just tell you. But I know what that takes, and I outworked all of them. They're there. It's cold to you. All right, not to me. Hey, miss, how you doing? Oh, I got these prayer calendars right here. Call your church right now. Call your church. I'll wait. Go ahead, call them. Come here, what do you want? I got these calendars. Look, they're called the romance calendar. Let me show you. Do you see Obama and Michelle? They look gorgeous. You're never going to find these again. This is a collector's item. People, let me get 10. Let me get 15. And they call my pastor, wait, pastor, do you have a box? Yeah, how much? 400. Bang, I was bop, 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 bop. My other guys walking around, taking breaks, going to Starbucks, a few minutes on the block selling. They're like, yo, man, I got 300. Yo, man, I only sold like 10. They're like, pastor, how many you sold? I'm like, I'm already past 1,500. They're like, you lying. I'm like, look at this, man, So I know in Christianity, I can't turn that on. That's a part of me that has to die and the energy has to be reshaped and used for other things, to work hard. Now, if I am meeting somebody really important and we need to get something done from Christ, you need somebody to go in and negotiate, I turn it on then. I will go in and come out, deal done for Jesus. Now millions could be reached for Christ. And that's why I keep it. Okay? So then I said, okay, the top 10% of my field, what is that? That's television. What else? That's book writing. What else? That's television, not a lot. Christianity is kind of limited. Television, book writing, maybe large events and things like that. And that's probably as wild as it gets in my world, So what do? I write books. I'm on television. I do large events. Me and your pastor just did an event this summer, Jesus Week. What was it? 14,000 people in Times Square. This year, we wanted to be bigger than that in Union Square. We're doing a large event in Chicago. We're going to reach all of Chicago. Hopefully 250,000 people we want to reach in Chicago. These are the things you have to say, okay, this is my role. This is my life. This is my lane. Do I want to be on the bottom or do I want to operate in the top 10%? And that's a decision you got to make, and then you got to pay the price. I pray for hours every day. That's part of paying the price. I have to know Jesus. I don't have time to miss. I need to know when God says, Dimas, I need you to do that. I need to know without a shadow of a doubt of my sense of call and purpose, and then I'm able to launch forward and go in it. Because if you don't have a strong sense of call and purpose, they tell you you won't last long. That's why some people start churches and they fail. You want to know why? Because they didn't have a strong sense of calling and purpose. They say before even you get started, you have to know that this is what God has called not only you, but also your wife to. Otherwise, because when the road gets rough, you'll be saying, so God, did you really say Staten Island or you said Alaska Street or did you say the state of Alaska? Maybe you meant the state. I must have missed it. You really have those moments. And in those moments, you need to be able to turn and say, I know this is what God told me to do. I know this is what God called me to do. I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. And God's going to show up and get me through it. And I'm going all the way to the finish line. That is what a call does to you.
He's got a big plan for your life. And whatever you want me to accomplish, I'm in your hands, God.
Last year, The church in New York City united like never before, and we broke records. And we're going for round 2 of Jesus Week. It's gonna be off the chain.
During the first full week of June, thousands of saints and hundreds of ministries will be operating in unity to saturate our city with the love of Jesus. The strategy is simple. Step it up in prayer and outreach for 1 week in our own zip codes and our own neighborhoods.
In 2017, nearly 1 million people were impacted in New York City through Hope Day, Pray New York, all throughout the zip codes, through basketball tournaments, book fairs, through Bible studies, movie nights, all type of giveaways, outreaches to our immigrant community. Churches were so empowered that they were taking it to the streets. I mean, this was incredible, folks. Then we ended it right at Times Square with 14,000 people worshiping Jesus, hearing testimonies and songs of praise. This is what Jesus Week was all about.
All Jesus Week participants will have access to over 1 million Bibles, Jesus film DVDs, children's books, devotional books, and amazing creative tracks to empower your evangelistic efforts.
We want to hit it harder this time. We're going to start on June 2nd, and we're going to end on June 9th with a huge celebration, lifting up Jesus' name. Let's come together. Hi, I'm Pastor Dimas, the host of The Dynamic Life. Thank you for watching us today. Currently, our mission is to dynamically communicate Christ to culture, and we want to make 10 million bold followers for Jesus Christ. Your gift will help us do this in a much larger way. We're doing this through film, we're doing this through television, we're doing this through large events. We've networked over 5,000 leaders together in New York City to share the gospel. Right now, we're in Chicago, and we're praying that God will help us stop those homicides. We're in New York City with an event called Jesus Week. We reached 14,000 people. We're trying to take the gospel across this world, and we're sending teams into Puerto Rico. Your gift will help us reach and bring water and food to those struggling in Puerto Rico. God bless you. You can go to PastorDimas.com. That's PastorDimas.com. And you can write to the P.O. box on the bottom of the screen. God bless. Keep looking up and keep Christ number one.